You know that Ben Franklin quote about death and taxes? Pretty hard to argue with that. But these days, I think people are realizing that there are ways to be a little bit smarter about the taxes part, especially when it comes to retirement savings.
It's a big deal. And with inflation still a concern for a lot of folks, people are really looking for ways to protect what they've earned.
Right. And that's why we're diving into the world of gold IRAs today, figuring out what they are, how they work, and maybe most important of all, what the IRS has to say about the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Our main source today is Gold IRA Tax Rules, the IRS and Your Precious Metals, which is from Gold IRA Blueprint. So before we get too far into it, this isn't just about like stashing gold bars under your mattress.
Yeah. Haha, no. We're not talking pirate treasure here. A gold IRA is still a retirement account. But instead of stocks and bonds, you're holding actual physical gold. Coins, bars, that kind of thing.
Okay, so I like it. I'm already picturing like a mini Fort Knox for my retirement savings. But I'm guessing the IRS has something to say about, what kind of gold you can actually put in there. It can't be just anything, right?
Oh, yeah. They definitely have rules. You can't just melt down grandma's jewelry or anything.
Yeah.
There are very specific types of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium that qualify, each with their own purity level that the IRS lays out. Like for gold, we're talking 99.5% pure.
Wow. Purity. So, okay, that makes sense. What about where the gold comes from? Does the IRS care about that at all?
For sure, yeah. We're talking about IRS-approved mints, places they know and trust.
Mm.
So like American Eagle coins
Mm.
or Canadian Maple Leafs. Those would get the IRS seal of approval.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they're making sure you're getting the real deal, top-notch quality, authenticated precious metals.
It's like the gold needs a pedigree or something. And I'm guessing this is where picking the right custodian is really important, right?
Exactly.
They're the ones making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted.
Exactly. Your custodian isn't just your regular bank. They're pros when it comes to these self-directed IRAs. And they're laser focused on making sure you're playing by all those IRS rules.
Yeah.
They take care of the paperwork, the reporting, and they work with a secure depository to make sure your gold is safe and sound.
Hold on, a depository. Like, we're talking about serious security here.
Think Fort Knox, but for your gold IRA. These places are built to safeguard precious metals, top-tier security systems, insurance, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, you can sleep well at night knowing that your gold is locked up tight. But choosing the right custodian and depository, that's key. Because, of course, there are going to be fees involved there, which is something we can definitely unpack a bit later.
Okay, good to know. It's not just about the gold itself. It's about this whole other world that comes with it. So, all right, we've got the gold, the custodian, the depository. What about different types of gold IRAs? Are there like different flavors of these things?
Yeah, it's a lot like regular IRAs. You've got options. Traditional, Roth, SEP, they're all on the table. And each of those comes with its own set of tax advantages. Which one you choose really depends on what your goals are, how much risk you're comfortable with, that kind of thing.
It's like finding the right recipe, for your own personal retirement plan. So let's break each one of those down a little bit, starting with traditional. What's the big selling point there?
So the main perk with a traditional gold IRA is something called tax-deferred growth. Basically, you don't pay taxes on your earnings until you actually withdraw the money in retirement.
So it's like you're letting your investment just like snowball for years without the government taking a cut every time it grows.
Exactly.
That's got to make a huge difference. When would that be a particularly good strategy?
It's especially smart if you think you'll be in a lower tax bracket in retirement. Let's say you're doing well now, making good money, so you're in a higher tax bracket. With a traditional gold IRA, your contributions come out of your income before taxes, so you reduce your taxable income now, and you pay less overall later when you take those funds out for retirement.
Makes total sense. But what about people who are more interested in, having tax-free withdrawals in retirement? Is that where a Roth Gold IRA comes in?
Bingo. That's the Roth advantage. Instead of tax-deferred, it's tax-free withdrawals in retirement.
Okay. So is there a catch?
Well, you contribute after-tax dollars with a Roth, so it's like a trade-off. Pay taxes now or maybe end up paying more later. Really depends on your own situation and how much you think you'll be making in retirement.
Got it. Got it. And last but not least, those SEP Gold IRAs. Those always feel kind of mysterious to me.
Well, they're specifically for people who are self-employed or own a small business.
Hmm.
What sets them apart? Those contribution limits are way higher.
Mm.
So you can potentially put away a lot more for retirement.
So basically, if you're your own boss, this could be the way to go. Great tip for all our entrepreneur listeners out there. But no matter which type of gold IRA we're talking about, it seems like understanding the tax side of things is super important. It's not as simple as just gold equals no taxes, is it?
You got it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it. Nuances, potential drawbacks, things we definitely need to talk about.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about fees for the custodians and the depositories.
Right. We can't forget about those.
And then there's that whole thing about required minimum distributions, those RMDs.
Yeah. Those always cause a bit of a stir.
Definitely need to unpack all of that. Plus, got to talk about those tax advantages and disadvantages in a little more detail. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into all that.
All right, we are back and ready to dive into the wild world of gold IRA tax implications.
It's important stuff.
It really is. Feels like we're about to unlock some kind of treasure chest here.